Good day and welcome to my lecture on Scandinavian mythology. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to do this lecture outside, but I really feel that one needs to feel these deities in order to truly understand them. And how better to feel them than to be surrounded by all this natural beauty. My name is Professor Guinevere, and I'll be your guide through this treacherous world of Scandinavian mythology, and hopefully by the end of this series I will get you to love the mythology as much as I do. There are many characters in this mythology, some more prominent than others, but today I'd like to concentrate on the story of one character in particular that has always fascinated me greatly for many, many years, and that is the character of Loki. Loki is a member of the Aesir tribe of deities, or the principal pantheon of gods in Norse mythology. He sits along with Odin, Thor, and Freya. Loki is, however, perhaps one of the more misunderstood characters, and one who is very close to my heart. Yes, to answer your question, he was quite devious, and often tricked other deities into getting what he wanted. And he did this via various means, including shape-shifting, which he could do with ease. He could shape-shift into animals, insects, yes, even humans. However, devious, yes, that he was. But he was in no way conniving or malicious. No, on the contrary, he was actually extremely helpful to the other gods. I particularly like this story of when Loki first helped the gods as they were building Asgard. Would you mind if I tell it to you? Thank you. The gods, unfortunately, had run out of funds to complete Asgard, and all they could build was one wall. However, Loki then suggested that the giants should finish the job for the gods, at which point both parties agreed, the gods as well as the giants. However, in remuneration for the work done, the giants asked for the sun, the moon, and the goddess Freya as payment if the job were to be completed on time. Well, as you can imagine, Freya did not agree to this, but Loki assured the gods that the giants would never complete the task on time. The giants had one huge advantage, though, besides their size, and that was a huge stallion called Svandolfari to help them. The gods got nervous. thinking that the giants would indeed finish and claim their prize. However, Loki changed into a mare and seduced the giant's horse, preventing the giants from finishing on schedule. Incidentally, Loki was impregnated by the stallion and gave birth to an 8-legged steed, which then became Odin's favorite mount. Well, as you can imagine, the giants were outraged and tried to kidnap Freya. But before that could happen, Thor cracked the giant's skull with a hammer. My question to the story is, clearly Loki assisted the gods. Clearly Loki bent backwards and sideways and forwards, and he did so much for the gods. Why would they then turn on him? He had some good in him. Why didn't they see that? Yes, Loki's antics, and they were many, frequently embroiled the gods in sticky situations, but as we see above, his tricks often rescued them from trouble as well. Well, in truth, the gods never trusted him. You see, Loki never proclaimed to belong to one group or another. His father was a giant, yet he never sided with the giants. He was part of the pantheon of gods, yet he never sided with the gods. He never sided with anyone. And often sitting on the fence is a decision by itself. And as we can see, the gods never trusted him, making that decision not to side with anyone could have been part of his downfall. He was alone. And even though he was the agent of chaos, yes, we need to remember that he was utterly alone. Humans feared him. The gods hated him. The gods mistrusted him. He did not have a friend in the world. One person, however, seemed to love him, even though it caused her great misery. She was utterly devoted to him. And at the end, she never left his side. And her name was Sigil. Loki married her and had one son with her, Nari. Unfortunately, and this was one of the causes of Sigil's pain, is Loki had a mistress as well. Why would he do that to someone so devoted to him? No one knows. But he had a mistress as well, and he had 3 children with this mistress. A daughter, Hel, who ruled the underworld after Loki. Jormungandr, the great serpent of Midgard. And Fenrir, the great wolf, who was to go on and slay Odin during Ragnarok, the end of the world. Yes, yes, Loki was troublesome at best. But he was not conniving, malicious, nor evil. He was just being himself, a trickster for laughs. But he was ostracized for it. Ostracized for being himself. He served the gods in so many ways and at so many times. But for all his service to the gods and to Odin, Odin turned his back on Loki and made him suffer, greatly suffer, for the rest of his life, for one mistake. The fateful mistake being that Loki was instrumental in the accidental slaying of one of Odin's sons, Baldur, the god of light. No good deed done before that act acted as a mitigating factor for Loki's punishment. He was stripped naked, left to the mercy of the elements. He was tied down on 3 points by the guts of his own child, Nari, the only son that he had with Sigurd. And he had a poisonous serpent tied above him, constantly dripping extremely painful venom on his face. Sigurd has been constantly at his side through all of this, and, well, maybe it was because of her love for Loki. But it could also be because of the grief for the loss of her only son. No one knows. But she is often depicted kneeling beside Loki, bowl in hand, catching the drips of the poison that escapes from the mouth of that vile serpent. At Ragnarok, he will break free of these bonds and fight against the gods. But do you blame him? Look what the gods did to him. Was his evilness a product of circumstance? Or because he was intrinsically evil? Think about it. The same question could be put to all of humanity. That person who was horrible to you earlier, is it because they really are horrible people, intrinsically evil? Or is it because of circumstance that they are the way that they are? Knowing Loki's story, I challenge you, I challenge each and every one of you to think deeper about those around you and move towards kindness instead of judgment, and compassion instead of condemnation. If we all could do that, how much better would this world be? Okay, that was the story of Loki. Are there any questions? No? Okay, well, that concludes our lesson. I will be available on email if there are any further questions or concerns, so please feel free to drop me an email. And furthermore, I'll see you all the next session. where we will be discussing more characters in the wonderful world of Scandinavian mythology. You are all dismissed. I thank you.